promise you golden demons, this is Nurse Hatchet. You are listening to the Wolf Pack.
The genre of horror is a great expanse. We want to explore it. We've spent years building our credibility, our reputation, interviewing people from all levels of horror, discussing visual and literary horror. This is our exploration. This is Full Spectrum Horror.
Wow, that's hot.
Yes, who?
That's an intro.
Yes, it is.
I'm hungry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Full Spectrum Horror. I am your host, Seymour, and with me, as always, is Audrey Jr. Say hello.
What are you, Seymour? I am. What is this with this big old plant here? Mushnik wants to know.
Oh, nothing, Mr. Mushkin.
It's Mushnik!
Mushnik, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes!
The plant just needs the right attention. Ooh.
Noxious! Garden Scares, everybody. It's me, William Pattison, a.k.a. Eric Morris, not Mushnik, and,
Roger Jr.
God, we're ready at Little Shop of Horrors, Little House of Terrors. Yeah, great. It's time for that. We're going to do that later there. But, yeah. We're full spectrum horror there, brother. And we're ready. I got twin pythons ready for this. I know Mr. Highland has been so excited.
Mm-hmm.
He's been as excited about doing this show as my horror host horror host Skull John is about the next episode of Bloodbath Theater, which is themed as all skulls. Isn't that exciting, Mr. Highland?
That's interesting.
Yes. John's been dancing in the street for that.
Gee, I'm surprised you weren't able to get the skeleton to go along with your skull.
Yeah, I know. Alrighty. So, anyways, Mr. Highland, just remember, everybody, that Full Spectrum Horror is brought to you by our incredible sponsors. Highland's favorite drink.
Nope.
Nos. That incredibly filled up caffeine blast.
Yes, promising to make your heart explode.
Yes, indeed. And of course, our other sponsor, which is Bang.
Promise to make your head explode.
Yes, indeed. And, of course, our absolute favorite, Toastios. I see it all the time. Your friends invite you out, always busy. Eventually, they invite someone else, like, say, Kisser Island. Do you really want Christopher Highland hanging out with your friends, taking selfies, bonding over chips and chips, becoming BFFs forever? Suddenly you find Christopher Highland at your sister's wedding where you're supposed to be, or even be her bridesmaid in your place. And you look horrible in mauve, I'm telling you. And you've just gotten Highlanded. Don't get Highlanded. Get together with Toastios. Isn't that right, Mr. Highland? Get together with Toastios.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Alrighty, so I know Mr. Highland's all excited. What's our next segment, Mr. Highland? Because I know you've been waiting all month for this one.
Oh, well, you mentioned that we're going to read our fan mail. But before we get to that, I just want to mention last month I mentioned a documentary that I couldn't remember the title of, and since then I looked at the title and I have it with me now. It's called Chuck Norris versus Communism.
Awesome.
And it deals with Romania.
Romania.
So now you know, and I noticed that it's online. So anyone who wants to see that can look for it online and watch it.
Where online?
Well, YouTube, for example.
Cool.
I'm sure it's elsewhere also.
Oh, that'll be great. You know, people want that. All righty. So, anyways, yeah, Mr. Highland's all excited because you know, it's that time where we get some appreciation from you fans. And it is fun mail time. Alrighty, so here is our first piece of fan mail. And this is from Davis in Union City. Hello, Chris and William. I love your podcast. It's a shame you only do a podcast once a month because you guys are great. I was wondering if you will be talking about Neon Maniacs or Castle Freak. I love those movies and would like to hear your take on them. Well, Mr. Highland?
Well, I've seen Neon Maniacs and I enjoyed it, but I haven't seen Castle Freak. I heard Castle Freak's good. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Okay. Yeah, because
What about you?
Oh, I have Castle Freak I have both movies in my collection. I had Castle Freak in the original video release, and I've also got it on DVD that I got through Full Moon. Yeah, love it.
Okay. Yeah, Barbara Crampton's in that one, right?
Huh?
Barbara Crampton's in that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Barbara Crampton and who's the main actor? I hate the medication that does one that played the reanimator.
Oh, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, but he plays a totally different character than what he usually plays. So that one is really good. If you do get a chance, Mr. Highland, to find a copy of Castle Freak, definitely go for it.
All right.
There's more to the to the letter here.
Okay.
Oh, to William, I would like to thank you for making me aware of the collector's edition steel box of Corman's Humanoids of the Deep. I love that film. I didn't like the remake they put out, though. Yeah, I thought the remake was okay, but, you know, nothing is better than Corman's original Humanoids from the Deep. Alrighty, so here is a next one. This is Kathy from Studio City. Hi, Christopher and Bill. I've listened to your podcast for years. It was you who inspired me to start my own with a friend of mine. I would like to ask if you would do a show on House on Haunted Hill. I know Bill showed the film on his horror show a couple years ago. That was when I introduced that film to my son. We had popcorn and had a lot of fun. Thank you. I just wanted to say hi and tell you that I love your show and will keep listening. All right, Mr. Highland.
And I'm sure she's talking about the original.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because that was the one that I showed a couple years ago. House on, the one with Vincent Price. And that's a favorite of mine. I watch House on Haunted Hill quite a bit.
I've seen it, and no, I have not seen the remake, nor do I plan on it.
I would highly recommend you do, Mr.
Really?
Very interesting.
I don't know.
Actually, very interesting. It's one of my favorite of the Dark Castle films. Interesting play on it. Also, I would suggest watching Return to House on Haunted Hill, which is the sequel to that one. Very interesting, very well done. Jeffrey Combs is actually in it too. Anyways, alrighty. So next one is Jay from Las Vegas. I want to say I love listening to you, Christopher, but you need to get rid of the fat boy. He keeps you down. Seriously, you don't need that clown. Okay, Mr. Highland, you first.
Is that all he says?
Yeah.
Well. Well, I've been thinking about what to say to this. Well, first off, my co-host and I have a good rapport, which is not easy to find. I would say we play off each other well. Second,
I know it's hard, definitely.
I'm trying not to offend you.
That's fine, offend me. I don't care. I've heard it all. You should realize I have heard it all by now.
I know. Second of all, not everyone would give me a chance to be on a show like this. Especially if you don't have any experience.
Yeah.
When I started doing this show, I had absolutely no experience at all with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing is that Mr. Highland had a lot of fear issues. And the thing is that giving him this position has really helped him in regard to expanding himself and doing this kind of thing. He's actually done other podcasts, helped it with other podcasts since starting with me, and he's done a very good job. And most of all, the thing is that Mr. Highland needs me anyways, because I'm the one that actually runs all the podcasting equipment. Mr. Highland is not technically minded in regard to this, so he wouldn't know how to set up a podcast.
Uh-huh.
That's just simple fact. And anyways, Jay, you know what? You don't have, honestly, here's a little fact here. I know who you are. You're Jay. You are Eric Hyde's buddy who works in the porno shop. And you're just doing this to be a butthead. And the fact is that you don't have any credibility because you insulted me. There are ways of saying things that are done in a more classy way. But what can you expect from a guy who spends his days in a porno shop mopping up human sexual fluids off of floors in movie rooms? So that's all I'm going to say on that. So have yourself a wonderful day there, Jay. Alrighty. Well, we got another actual fan letter here. This is from Mark from Castle Creek. Hey guys, love the show. I find it funny that Christopher only talks about books for the horror news, while William talks about new horror tees, figures, pins, posters, and videos. Christopher needs to expand himself and not be such a bookworm. Just a suggestion. Could you guys please do a show on the Japanese horror film Attack of the Mushroom People? I really like that movie. William, you should show that on your horror show too. Okay, Mr. Highland.
Yes, I know. I feel your sentiments, and you're right. I should expand it, but there really isn't. It's good news is hard to come by.
Yes, indeed.
And also, I've never heard of the mushroom movie. Have you?
Yes. Yeah, I actually watched it when I was a little kid. Of course, I was really big into Japanese horror films, and I was lucky enough that one of our drive-in movies liked to show Japanese films. They would show the Gaiju films and that. So that was where I first saw Attack of the Mushroom People. And then they showed it on Creature Features a number of times. So yeah, I'm very well aware of the Mushroom People. The problem is that you can't find it. I've actually been looking for this film for years.
Why don't you let me try?
Okay, Mr. Highland. Yeah.
Because you know that I'm very good at finding things.
Yeah, it's a very good film. It's about these people who get trapped on this island, and the island is infested with these giant mushrooms. And the thing is that the mushrooms take over the people when they eat them. And it's different from a lot of the Asian, the Japanese horror films that I saw at that time. Very unique.
Is it anything like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
No, it's not. It's not schlocky in any way.
Okay.
It's very serious.
Okay. I mean, the title alone suggests that, but all right.
Think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but with mushrooms.
Okay.
Very good film. I would love to. There's a list of films that I am looking for that I have not been able to find. I mean, I even looked on Daily Motion to see if I could find the film there, and they didn't have it. When you saw I saw that they had Attack of the Mushroom People, but what it was a Gamera film. They had put the wrong title on it. It was Attack of the Monsters, and they put Mushroom People instead. So, yeah, so that one is very hard. There, as I said, there's a number of films that I've wanted to show, but I can't find at all. But I'm going to keep looking. So, if I ever do, just keep an eye on my Bloodbath Theater website and keep up on the updates. And if I find it, I'll put it up there, and you'll know that I'll be doing a special Toho night, because Attack of the Mushroom People, I think it was Toho. It was either Toho or the company that did Gamera. But anyways, it was one of the major Japanese ones that did Attack of the Mushroom People. Very well done film. Very atmospheric, too. Very good. Alrighty, and we have one last piece of fan mail. This is from Jerry from New Park. Hi guys, love the show. You guys gonna do any 80s movies like Blood Beach or Humanoids from the Deep? Boy, that's coincidental. Keep doing the Scream Factory releases. I got a lot of cool special edition Blu-rays thanks to you guys. Alrighty, anything from you on that?
Well, I would do a show on Blood Beach if I could find the movie.
Oh well, I can help you with that. I've actually
and a good copy of it too.
No, I found a bad copy, but it's.
I keep finding online are bad copies.
Yeah, because it's hard to find Blood Beach. I think the problem is that Scream Factory did put out a copy of Blood Beach, but it's only on Blu-ray. So, but it's a beautiful copy. But the thing is, I can't do Blu-rays on Bloodbath Theater either. So I'm probably going to have to do one of the really bad copies if I ever do Blood Beach.
Well, if I'm lucky, I'll get that. If I'm lucky, I'll get a region-free Blu-ray player within the next few months.
Cool. Then Mr. Highland will be going nuts, going to Scream Factory. Oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. you'll be going Scream Factory nuts.
I'll be happy as a little girl.
Oh yeah, because those Scream Factory copies are fantastic. Alrighty, so that is fan mail for now. If you want to send us fan mail, send an email with your fan mail to the Eric Morris Show at gmail.com. And I will go through it. We get a lot of hate mail and stuff, kind of like Jay's, but, a lot worse. His was actually very minor in comparison. Anyways, yeah, as I said, the Eric Morris Show at gmail.com. So keep those, keep that fan mail coming. I know Mr. Highland appreciates it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mr. McFeely.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Alrighty. So now it is time. Mr. Highland has spent the entire month going around to internet sites and all that, going anywhere for that weird, that strange, that horror news.
Yeah, and I'm rather disappointed again at the lack of it.
Really?
Okay. I'll get through this rather quickly and in no particular order. Even though I mispronounced her name, she said her name is Kathy Koha, but I in my head I say it Kath. So anyway, Kathy Koha's novel Skin is now an Audible audiobook. And from the description, it's kind of like what sort of along the lines of Clive Barker's work. So anyone who's interested can check that out. Next, Brian Lumley's novel, collection of short stories, A Coven of Vampires. I mentioned this last month, and it's now available on Audible. Next, and I'm certain I didn't discuss this last month, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, and Eric, you said I didn't, but the true crime book Shot in the Heart by McCall Gilmore. This is who is the brother of Gary Gilmore. Up until now, this book has been an audiobook, but only abridged. So will be released August 20th. Unfortunately, there's no running time listed, so who knows how long it's going to be, but I'd say fairly long. Another one I've wanted to read or listen to for quite some time. And last, but certainly not the least, anyone who's interested in Japanese horror movies or even Japanese horror stories, Penguin Classics will be releasing a book called Japanese Horror Stories.
Oh, nice.
And this is the same author who wrote Kwaidan.
Oh,
movie.
I love that.
There's of course the movie the same name, but they wrote a story Kwaidan. The author's name is Lef Cadio Hearn. And let's see, what are these stories about? Heads separating from bodies at night, or flesh-eating goblins, and terrifying faceless Mujina, pronounced Mohina, who haunt lonely neighborhoods.
Oh, cool.
Fortunately, it doesn't say exactly when these stories were written. Oh, wait. It says throughout the 1890s.
Yeah, they're old. They're old. Japanese folklore ones.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating stuff.
So that's pretty much what I have. And sorry, I did have more variety. One who wrote that I don't. So.
You know what? I do the filler.
Yes, I know. You handle
do
most
the
of the
quality
movies.
stuff with the literature and that. I do the
Yeah,
filler.
I mean, someone has
That's
to do
always
it.
good.
Someone has to do it. You
Yeah,
know
exactly.
what it is.
Exactly. Alrighty. Well, I got something that you're gonna want. You're gonna want one of these, Mr. Highland. I know that you're gonna want it. All right. So, Studio House Designs has come out with a retro design style, the Lost Boys design, available in t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, 6x48 wall flags. That's what I think you'd go for, Mr. Highland. And 18x24 screen printed posters. You can get the t-shirts for $25, long sleeve shirts for $30, wall flags. Now, yeah, I mean, seriously, you could afford this, Mr. Highland, $25. And the screen printed posters are $35. Now, I'm serious. This is a fantastic design. It's a poster design that is really retro 80s. It shows the vampire David in his full vamp mode, and he's in red. And then you have the R-rated symbol to his left, along with the WB symbol. And the thing is, on the R rating restricted thing, they have silhouettes of the guys hanging from that, like from the bridge scene in Lost Boys. Underneath them, there's a thing of Chinese food in silhouette. And in white letters, it says, sleep all day, party all night, never grow old, never die. And beneath that, in red, it says, it's fun to be a vampire. Then under that in white background that looks very dirty, you have the Lost Boys in black, and you have a silhouette of a vampire bat in red. Very beautifully done. You know, it looks like something that I'd get for a t-shirt, definitely. Really, really well done piece. So, anyways, you can get that from Studio House Designs. So check it out. Alrighty, next one. Scream Factory has teamed up with PCS Collectibles to create a statue of the werewolf from Joe Dante's The Howling. The PVC statue stands 6.5 inches on its own and over 9 inches tall with the base. The standard version, limited to 1,500, is available for $64.99 exclusively from Shout Factory. A bloody variant, limited to 500, will be available exclusively at San Diego Comic-Con. You can pre-order one for pickup for $69.99. Alrighty, next, Mezco Toys will add Billy from Saw to its Mezco Designer Series Mega Scale action figure line. Due out this winter, it's available for pre-order for $94. The figure stands 15 inches tall, features 11 points of articulation, and has a discrete button on its back to activate its talking feature. It comes packaged in a window box. Now, here's one I know Mr. Highland would love to have. With summer upon us, Pixel Elixir has released its enamel pin combining two seasonal favorites, Friday the 13th and beer. The 2-inch soft enamel pin is available in standard and 8-bit variants for $10 each. And what it is it's Jason Voorhees holding his machete, and he's got a beer in his hand, holding it up, about ready to take a drink. In the background is a lake with the trees and the sun in the background. Very nicely done for that. But I think Mr. Highland would rather have the Crystal Lake Summer Lager design t-shirt, which is this Jason with big old Crystal Lake on there, and underneath it, Summer Lager. Very nicely done. And that's for $15. It's a t-shirt. Fantastic. Beautiful design. I really highly recommend that. So, you go to Pixel Elixir for that. And that is my horror news. Now it is time for our Scream Factory releases. And once again, we have a collector's edition that I know Mr. Highland would want.
No.
Oh, yes. The Blob Collector's Edition with exclusive poster.
Which version?
The remake.
Oh.
Due to release October 29th, 2019 for $28.43. List price is $29.99. Blu-ray. You get an exclusive 18 by 24 rolled poster featuring the new comic book, or the new artwork, which is fantastic. You got the main character on his motorcycle, and you've got all the Blob all around him. There's helicopters coming in. There's guys in hazmat suits firing at it. And, you know, as I said, he's framed in with the blob, and you see people, you know, looking out of it, you know, with the blob all over them, you know, holding their hands out, you know, trying to get help. And that. And the tagline is "Terror has no shape." Alrighty. So, anyways, here is the synopsis. A great movie with an A-pick budget. The Blob is back with a vengeance. This is from Variety. The Blob is back in this horrific tale about a vile, malignant life form that crashes to Earth in a cozy, rural American town called Arborville. Untroubled by conscience or intellect, the Blob only does one thing, and it does it well. It eats anything and everything that moves. Men, women, children, and tonight it wants to swallow the town of Arborville. The original version of the Blob thrilled and terrified audience back in the 1950s. Now the oozing, gooey killer is back with a whole new high-tech look. What was once only suggested now comes to life with state-of-the-art special effects in the tradition of such thrilling remakes as The Thing and the Fly. What do you think, Mr. Highland? I remember the remake of The Blob, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I remember it too. I haven't seen the original, so I don't have anything to I don't have I can't compare it to the original. I'd like to see the original sometime.
We got to do. Once you see that, you know, we've got to do a show on it because.
Well, we were supposed to do. We were supposed to discuss the short story that.
It was based on
the basis.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to do that as well. Alrighty. So next Blu-ray. Oh my God, Mr. Highland, you're gonna be happy as hell. Because this is a movie that you absolutely love, and we've actually done a show on this.
Oh?
Yes, indeed. Yes. On Blu-ray, coming October 29th, 2019, The Devil Rides Out.
Yeah.
For $19.97. Suggested retail is let's see. Suggested retail is $27.99. Alrighty, so let's get to our synopsis. Synopses: all demons of hell summoned to Earth to reclaim the Devil's Bride. Depler Dec LaRue has been trusted with the care of his deceased friend's son, Simon Aaron. The Duke discovers that the young man has been seduced into joining a satanic cult headed by the diabolic Mokata, who is intent on making Simon one of the devil's disciples. Having rescued Simon from the bloodied ritual, De La Cruz is pursued by Mokata, who will stop at nothing to destroy the Duke and his friends, even summoning the Angel of Death itself. Starring Christopher Lee in one of his personal favorite roles, and based on the celebrated novel by Dennis Wheatley, The Devil Rides Out is one of Hammer's most accomplished and thrilling mystery horrors. Definitely, I remember that one. Man, that devil makeup cannot be you know, cannot be outdone. That was impressive. I do have to say, the goat devil. Oh my god, that was good. Alrighty, here's another collection that I know Mr. Highland's gonna want. On Blu-ray, coming October 15th, 2019. The Omen Collection Deluxe Edition. And it comes with an exclusive lithograph which shows little boy Damien with his little puppy and his crows in a graveyard. It's very scary, and little Damien has his cute little glowy eyes. Oh, he's so sweet and cute, isn't he, Mr. Highland? Alrighty, so that is for $63.97. Original, list price is $79.97. You get the exclusive, if you order from Shout Factory early, you get an exclusive 28.5 by 16.5 rolled lithograph of the cute little artwork that I said limited to the first 666 orders. Alrighty, so let's see what we get with this. Remember, you have been warned. Experience the ultimate in horror with the Omen Collection, featuring all 4 original films as well as the 2006 remake that kept the audience glued to the screen with white-knuckled terror. Packed with hours of chilling special features, this 5-disc set includes 1976 The Omen, new 4K remaster, Damien Omen 2, in which Damien discovers his destiny, the final conflict in which he realizes his full power, and Omen 4 The Awakening, in which a demonic force returns in the form of a wicked young girl. The haunting legacy comes full circle with the riveting 2006 version, including stirring performances from Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, William Holden, Lee Grant, Rossano Brazzi, Sam Neill, Mia Farrow, Liv Schreiber, and more. The Omen Collection presents the height of sheer terror, ready for hours of ultimate evil. And that is it, Mr. Highland, for our Shout Factory releases. All right, so what do you think of that? Does that sound like a really good deal there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you a fan of The Omen?
Well,
Oh, okay.
I would say so. It's definitely one of the better franchises out there.
Oh yeah.
And
Only the very last one of the series. I'm not talking the remake. I'm talking the Omen: The Awakening. That one was a piece of shit, but
yeah,
that one's really good. The original trilogy.
yeah. Those movies. they weren't ran into the ground. I mean, they weren't run into the ground. I mean, a lot of franchises are run into the ground, but that one wasn't. It had a definite beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. Alrighty, Mr. Highland, are you ready for movie reviews?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yes, I know Mr. Highland spent the entire month looking for those special movies just
Yes,
you.
yes. And I will start with something recent. And I don't know if you've seen this movie, but in case you haven't, I won't spoil anything for you. It's called Us. Have you seen that one?
Not yet, but I've heard enough about it. You don't have to worry about me.
Okay. Well, it has to deal with doppelgangers. And whereas in a meme, someone said, Homer Simpson said, "Oh, I think it was called the Lookalike Killers." This is definitely a modern movie. It's definitely a sign of the times. I can see that it's derivative of the times as well, and what it's derivative of specifically, but I'm not going to get into that. It's about a girl who gets lost in a maze of mirrors, and a reflection is actually alive. And years later, she has her own family, and she goes to a vacation spot near where this happened. And then all of a sudden, they get attacked, and it turns out it's the person from the Hall of Mirrors. And they manage to get away, and they have friends who are vacationing nearby, and their family, and unfortunately they get attacked by their doppelgangers, and they get killed. And one by one, each of the lady's doppelgangers get killed until she gets she tracks down her doppelganger who kidnaps her son. He's taken to the Hall of Mirrors, and there's this huge underground complex. But there's a twist at the end, but for anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm not going to say what it is. And I must applaud the writer on that twist. I did not expect it at all. As for a rating,
yes, I agree.
As for a rating, I would definitely give this a 4.5.
Awesome.
Out of 5.
Bravo, Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Another
Next. Okay, next. And this is a movie that I was expecting a little bit more, but I didn't like this at all. And you might have heard of this movie. This was recently put on DVD, called Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
No, I never heard of that one.
Okay. Well, neither have I until recently, and oh my god, it's really bad. let's see, what do I remember about it? Basically, it's about a bunch of druids who are killing people for sacrifices, and because they want to resurrect this lady, and there's really not much more to say to it than that. Other than that, the acting is abysmal. I told someone I know about it, and he mentioned Troll 2 to compare it to. And first of all, Troll 2 knows what it is and revels in it. This movie, no. I wouldn't say it knows what it is and revels in it. No. It's just bad. It's just bad writing, bad acting. Oh, it's... So, what would I give this rating? What would I give it for a rating? I would say -10 out of 5. Avoid this like the plague.
Yep, sounds like it.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right, so now it's time for mine, and I know this is a movie that Mr. Highland's waiting to actually go out and see. Film. Alrighty, and it's Annabelle Comes Home. Annabelle Comes Home is the newest film in the Conjuring universe. And this film actually focuses on Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum, which is actually a real place where they keep haunted objects. And this film takes place just before The Conjuring. So this is a very unique film in that it takes place, just at the beginning of where the film The Conjuring starts. And so this starts when Ed and Lorraine Warren they take possession of Annabelle, the possessed doll, and they are bringing it home with them. And some of this is actually based on truth about what happened on the way home from picking up this doll. Of course, the original Annabelle is actually a Raggedy Ann doll, so it's not this creepy ass doll that they have in the movie. But still,
yeah, I guess they can't market the Raggedy Ann doll as scary.
Yeah. Also, the thing is that James Wan, he has a thing about creepy dolls.
Oh.
So he's going to have a creepy doll in one of his films. It's going to be extra creepy because it was James Wan who came up with Billy, and he came up with the Billy from Dead Silence and that. So this version of Annabelle is his design. Anyway, so the thing is that the Warrens are bringing Annabelle to their house. At one point, their car stops, and it stops in front of this graveyard. And the thing is that while Ed is trying to fix the car, Lorraine keeps seeing these ghosts, and the thing is that they're coming around the car because of Annabelle. Annabelle is almost like a light because she's possessed, she's got a demon inside of her, and that the doll doesn't do anything. That's the thing that you have to realize. It's the demon. The demon uses her as its place that it hides. So the thing is that the ghosts are brought in by Annabelle. Well, anyways, Ed ends up fixing the car. They get going, but the thing is that Lorraine has a momentary flash, and she hears this little girl who says, "I like your doll." And it appears that one of the spirits from the cemetery has latched on to Annabelle and is going with them. Anyway, so they get Annabelle to their place. They've got a priest waiting for them there. They end up they put together this box using sanctified glass, and they put her in this box to block the demon that's inside of her. As long as she's in this box, and that everyone's safe. But if the box is opened or that, the demon can come out and start shit. So anyways, they got Annabelle in there, and the museum is when they have to actually have the place sanctified once a week, believe it or not, Mr. Highland, to keep keep the supernatural spirits and demons and stuff that's in these items held. And anyways, the thing is that the Warrens, they have a young daughter, teenage daughter. She's about 12. And unfortunately, they have to leave. And so, their daughter, Judy Warren, is going to be, they're going to leave for about 24 hours. And their regular babysitter, Mary Ellen, is going to come and watch Judy for them. Now, Judy's used to having Mary Ellen there and stuff and that. And, unfortunately, the thing is that her parents are leaving on her birthday. So Mary Ellen is going to have a little birthday party for her, bring it, have some kids invited and stuff, and have that. And her friend Danielle is going to come as well. Well, Danielle had, when she found out that who the Warrens were, because in the town, it's very well known that the Warrens are these spiritualists and stuff. Anyways, Danielle has a secret that she secret yearning. She wants to talk to her father, who was killed in an automobile accident. She was in an automobile accident with him, and he died. And she secretly blames herself for his death. So she wants to contact him and apologize to him. So the thing is, while the party is happening, the thing is that none of the kids actually come to Judy's party. So it's just her, Mary Ellen, and Danielle. The thing is that stuff starts happening in the house, and the power goes out, and Danielle, she sneaks down into the museum, and she's touching the items in the museum and trying to find something that would help her get in touch with her father. Unfortunately, she goes and lets Annabelle loose. And Annabelle gets the other haunted items, the spirits, going there. So what ends up happening is that the girls are under attack. They're trapped in the house. Outside of the house, there is this demonic werewolf thing from one of the haunted items that is keeping them in the house. Mary Ellen's boyfriend shows up, and he's nearly attacked by it, and so he's trapped in there too with them. And so it's all these different spirits and stuff. A haunted wedding dress, which tries to take over Danielle, and there's this spirit from these coins that were put on dead people's eyes, and he's trying to take souls. And of course, there's Annabelle, which has the demon and this other spirit that she brought from the cemetery. All right. So anyways, I love this film. I absolutely loved it. It was great. I've been waiting for them to go to the Warrens museum. I know quite a bit about the Warrens Museum. I also know a lot about John Zaffis's museum, which is the Warrens' nephew. But anyways, the writer on this is James Wan and Gary Duberman, who also directed the film. Excellent, good atmosphere, good tension. The spirits in this are really frightening. It's shocking. Katie Seraph, who plays Danielle, is fantastic. Amusingly, I remembered her from her appearance on Supernatural, where she played in the musical episode. And I spent half the movie trying to figure out, who is that woman? Who is that girl? And I finally realized towards the end, oh my God, it's the one that did the Supernatural musical. Anyways, what would I give this? Other people would give it a lower rating. Let's just put it this way. A lot of people, because it's so far into the Conjuring thing, and it's not one of these big huge cases. This is more about an incident of one night that happened. For me, I give this a 4. I really do. I give this a 4. Now let's see. On IMDb, they gave it a 6.5 out of 10, which I think is a disgrace. Because this film is really good. It, as I said, lots of tension, lots of the stuff that are really good, and James Wan does not make bad films. Let's put it that way. This is definitely not as slow as The Nun, which I thought was better than what a lot of these people thought. Anyway, so yeah, 4.0 for Annabelle Comes Home. Alrighty, so the next one is another little controversial little piece. And I know Mr. Highland's been waiting to see this film.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I know that you're just waiting for it. The 2019 Hellboy reboot. Alrighty, yeah. So this is the 2019 Hellboy reboot. It's based on the graphic novels by Mike Mignola, and the screenplay is by Andrew Cosby and Mike Mignola, and it's directed by Neil Marshall. And anyways, we got a new guy playing Hellboy in it, and this is a reboot. This is origin story yet again of Hellboy, but this one is more graphic than the original Hellboy movie. This is Hellboy hyped up with lots of gore. And whereas the original Hellboy, you had the superhero team, basically. You had the whole different type of group there. This is based more on Mignola's original Hellboy comic, and they have the original team from that. They have the guy who turns into a tiger-like creature, and they have the girl who is a medium who can bring forth the dead. Bring forth the dead to speak to the living. This Hellboy, honestly, the guy who plays Hellboy, I didn't see much of a difference between this Hellboy and the other Hellboy.
Oh.
The personality is pretty much exactly the same. His voice is almost the same. And it's, very snarky Hellboy. The only difference is, of course, this Hellboy kills ones in bloody ways. There's the opening of the film, Hellboy's ending up trying to find an agent that was missing, and he finds him. The guy's now a luchador, and it turns out that the guy was turned into a vampire. So Hellboy ends up having to wrestle this guy, and he ends up fighting his friend, and he ends up impaling him on one of the posts on the wrestling ring. And throughout the film, he's fighting like these giants and stuff, and he's using a sword and chopping them up and stuff, chopping off arms and stuff. So there's really some bloody battles in there. You have Mila Losevich. She's the main villain in this. She's the Blood Countess, and she was she was an evil wizardess from the time of God, what, Camelot, and so she is actually chopped apart by King Arthur, and Merlin has the Knights of the Round Table separate her body and parts and move them all over the place. And there's this cult of fairies and stuff that's trying to bring her together because she's going to bring on the apocalypse, and humankind's going to be destroyed, and the fairy folk are going to rule the world again. And secretly, this leads into Hellboy's origins, because Hellboy is related to this, and Hellboy, just like in the first film, Hellboy is the person that can bring on the apocalypse because he's the demon king, and that though he doesn't want to be. In this version, one of the main differences with this Hellboy is that he's getting tired of humans, and he's honestly getting tired of humans having him kill his own people. The fairy folk and that. He's getting really tired of it and that. So that's just how that works out on it. So anyways, yeah, so of course eventually what ends up happening is there's a battle. Losevich's character is put back together, and there's a confrontation between her and Hellboy, and Hellboy learns about his ancestry, and he learns that he's supposed to be the king and of the apocalypse, and she's supposed to be the queen. Anyways, honestly, I love this one. I had no problems with it. A lot of people on the internet, heard a lot of the buzz about it, about all the fighting and stuff, and that I don't really care about that shit. I didn't have any problem with the storyline. I didn't have any problem with the writing. I didn't have any problem with the acting. The millennials were giving shit about the fact that some of the characters, their English accents were slightly off. I didn't notice it. What do I give a shit about English accents? But anyways, I liked the new Hellboy. He was very well. He was very good. He worked out very well. Ian Shaw, I liked him. I liked Mila Jovovich as the villain. Yeah, the new Hellboy, David Harbour. Very, very good. Very good. He did the character very well. So, anyways, this one I honestly give it a 4 out of 5. On my scale.
Have you ever read any? Have you read any of the comics?
I've read a couple of them.
And
I thought that this one was a lot closer. I thought this was a lot closer in tone because the original comics were not so much superhero stories as they were monster stories.
Yeah.
They were more supernatural in that.
Mm-hmm.
And with this film, they pulled that, the original author of Hellboy, he pulled out all the superhero aspects, and he left the pure original Hellboy idea that he had. So, not bad. I enjoyed it. But anyways, IMDb gave it a 5.3 out of 10. I don't agree with that, but I usually don't agree with IMDb anyways. So, anyways, yeah, really enjoyed Hellboy. And that's not saying that I hate Del Toro or that. I love Del Toro's films. I still love Del Toro's films. I still think he could do another Hellboy. Whatever, There's room for 2 Hellboys, and this guy did very well. I was very impressed. Alrighty, so anyways, Mr. Highland, it is time for our music break.
Yes, and this is one of those instances where I did not choose music.
Yeah, Mr. Highland had a very hard time finding music for this, so I went and chose both pieces for the music tonight. So yeah, this is all me. I don't think Mr. Highland agreed with me on them, but I like them. I think they work a little bit. There's a little bit of the theme in there for the film. So anyways, so let's have our music break. So go out, get yourself a drink, grab yourself a quick snack, and then we'll be back after the break.
Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had a one long horn and one big eye. I commenced to shaking and I said, ooh-wee. It looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. A one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater sure looks strange to me. Oh, well, he came down to earth and he lit in a tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff,
I wouldn't eat you 'cause you're so tough.
it was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater sure looks strange to me. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, what's your line? He said, I eat purple people and it sure is fine. But that's not the reason that I came to land.
I wanna get a job in a rock and roll band.
Well, bless my soul, rock and roll, flying purple people eater. Pigeon-toed, undercoat, flying purple people eater. Friendly little people eater, what a sight to see. And then he swung from the tree and he laid on the ground. And he started to rock, really rocking around. It was a crazy ditty with a swinging tune.
Sing a bop, bap, a boop, a lap, a loom, bam, boom.
Well, bless my soul, rock and roll, flying purple people eater. Pigeon-toed, undercoat, flying purple people eater.
I like short, short.
Flying purple people eater, what a sight to see. Well, he went on his way, and then what do you know? I saw him last night on a TV show. He was blowing it out, really nearly knocking him dead, playing rock and roll music through the horn in his head.
Tequila.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. You never take advice. Someday you'll pay the price. I know. I've seen it before. It happens all the time. You're closing the door. You leave the world behind. You're digging for gold. You're throwing away a fortune and feelings, but someday you'll pay. You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love. You want paradise, but someday you'll pay the price. I know. I've seen it before. It happens all the time. You're closing the door. You leave the world behind. You're digging for gold. You're throwing away a fortune and feelings, but someday you'll pay. You know that you are as cold as ice to me. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice, I know. Yes, I know. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice, I know. Oh, yes, I know. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice, I know. Oh, yes, I know.
Hello, I'm Charles Gaines. When I found out that XO Communications had customer service agents available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, well, naturally, I felt we should too.
Thank you for calling Mega Telco. This is Balcazar, Prince of Misery and Apprentice to Evil. May I help you?
It's all about serving you better.
They can't. We do. Voice, data, and web for business. XO, not just talk.
Hello, my she-devils and demons. This is Nurse Hatchet, she-wolf of the Wolf Pack.
All right, you there, Mr. Highland?
Yes, yes, I am.
All right, did you get your drink and stuff?
No.
And
No,
no, you didn't?
I had a tiny little snack.
Yeah, I know. All righty. So, anyways, yeah. So it's time for Little Shop of Horrors, Little Shop of Terrors. I know, Mr. Highland. No. Not that one. This is the original. This is the great one, not that pathetic piece of dirt that I should walk on. Pew! Pew! Right?
Yes, and I must say that I enjoyed this one much better. It wasn't as long. It wasn't contrived. It was. Let's see what else can I say about it. Well, I really like this one. It made me laugh, and it just shows what you can do with a low budget.
Oh yeah, low budget.
One of the,
days,
one of those
believe it or not, Mr. Highland.
It's one of those instances where less is more.
Yeah.
Which is rare, especially when it comes to comedy, even in this day and age.
Yeah, really true.
I mean, filmmakers just seem to want to pile it on, and that's... I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have to admit this wasn't piled on. I mean,
everything worked to its advantage, from the atmosphere, the set design, especially the music. I mean, the music was mainly that was a xylophone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows what you can do with a xylophone. I mean, that works in a comedy.
Yeah, well, the thing was that Roger didn't have a lot of time. This film had to be pretty much shot out of a cannon, pretty much. He basically shot the film in 2 days.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, 2 days.
It doesn't show.
Yeah.
It looks more like it was shot over the course of a week.
No, 2 days.
Wow.
2 days, and the thing is that most of the sets, except for the plant shop set, the exterior of the plant shop set and the interior, were all real businesses.
Oh.
They were actually all real businesses in the area. And, the thing was that Roger Corman made deals with them so that he could shoot. And he said that, oh yeah, you'll get some real, promotional work, being in my film, for your business and that. And so these ones, even the doctor's office was a real doctor's, the dentist's office was a real dentist's office. Believe it or not, Mr. Highland, that was a real dentist's office. And they went in there and they actually shot the entire dentist office sequence in 2.5 hours. And Roger Corman was there, and there was one instance where the main character, he kicks out with his leg, and the thing is, he kicks one of the machines, and it's going to go and fall over, and thankfully you don't actually see it, but Roger Corman himself, he grabs this thing because he doesn't want it to get broken and him having to pay for to pay for a damaged piece of machinery. But Roger Corman was literally there for the entire shoot. 2 days, he didn't eat. He nearly passed out because he wasn't even drinking water.
Oh my God.
So he nearly passed out from dehydration while doing this. And the reason why they did it in 2 days was because there was going to be a change in the rules for films in regards to royalties. And he wanted to get one film in before the royalties changed because, actors were going to be getting royalties off of their work. Whereas, before this, Roger would just pay them a certain amount of money and that was it. Now they were going to get royalties every time the film is shown. So this was his very last film that he had under the old standard, and he just wanted to get something else done because he wasn't sure, how he was going to, deal with the changes that were happening. Because, Roger was working on limited budgets and that, and you can imagine, if you're going to have to start paying royalties on your film, that's cutting out his money. Quite a bit. And he wasn't making a fortune off of these films because he was doing them on such a low budget. I mean, shit. You look at his film The Undead. He actually rented a supermarket to film the film. An old abandoned supermarket. And that. So yeah, I mean it was going to be hard, and it would be hard for him to find, actors and, and stuff. How that is.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Highland, I noticed something when I was watching the film. I didn't know that you were in Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the detective.
I thought you meant Seymour.
No, you weren't Seymour. You were that detective with the glasses. Oh my. Yeah. Another piece of trivia about this film is the fact that actor Dick Miller.
Yep.
He actually got sick during the production and ended up puking.
Oh, is that because he was eating the flowers?
Yes.
Were those real flowers he was eating or no?
Yes, those were real flowers. Roger didn't have money to be making fake flowers for the scenes. No, he was eating real flowers.
And what kind of flowers were those?
Chrysanthemums.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was eating chrysanthemums. And yeah, oh my God. Yeah, after a scene, he ended up having to go and throw up.
Yeah, I remember during the movie he would he would proceed to sprinkle like salt or sugar or whatever on the flour, and he would walk out of the shot.
Yeah, later on they
Yeah.
had to do that because if you notice when he started out, he was sitting there just downing those things.
Yeah.
But then after he started really getting sick and spitting them up, Roger decided to get clever with the shots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then of course
Now,
there's
Mr. Highland, I mean we gotta talk about the big actor in the movie, don't we?
Oh, you mean the guy who plays Wilberforce?
Yes, of course we do. Because it's very important. Because he plays a very important part in the film.
Yes, he's definitely the MVP. So you could have had a whole movie about this character, but no.
No, not at all.
Oh, we never get what we want when it comes to memorable movie characters.
Oh yeah. And just imagine that this was one of Jack Nicholson's earliest roles.
I wonder how many times people have mentioned it to him.
I have no idea, but oh my fucking God, you can imagine. He got his start with Roger Corman, and he kept going for a little while. I mean, doing films. I mean, he was in The Raven and he was in The Terror and stuff. Roger him educated in acting, and I have to say he did a brilliant job in this film because he created such an interesting character.
Yes. And if I have to say, if this movie was remade, and I'm not talking about the musical, but if it was remade in the style of the original, if they to portray the character, they should cast Eddie Deason.
Ah. Okay.
Can you imagine him doing that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Mr. Highland just doesn't want to talk about the other, the musical film
Nope.
because nope. Tee. We got spit. Tee. Right? We spit on your movie. Tee. Yeah, I still like I like the musical one. I'm sorry, Mr. Highland, I do. But yeah, whatever, Yeah, it's funny. I mean, when you find out about the history on this film, it's amazing. I mean, you're looking at that tire place. That's a real tire place. They didn't just stack up tires all over the place. These guys had to go to this tire place that had all these huge ass tires, and you could imagine if anything had happened, they could have fallen. They could have fallen into one of those tires and gotten into some real trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, how about the restaurant scene? You know, believe it or not, that was a real restaurant too.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah, it was a real restaurant, but the lady doing the stuff that it was after hours.
Oh.
So yeah, you can imagine it was like I think they said it was the first day after hours. They did an all-nighter trying to get a lot of this stuff because they had to get the dentist office, they had to get the restaurant, they had to get him walking around at night.
Yeah.
And that. Hey, did you notice that they had Brie Larson in this film?
Who?
Brie Larson, Captain Marvel.
No.
Yeah, there was the actress, the prostitute that he goes and feeds to the.
Oh.
Yeah, she kind of looked like Brie Larson, and I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, it's Brie Larson! She gets eaten by a plant. Great, I love it. Just what she needs."
I wonder who designed the plant and how they made it move and all that.
The plant didn't actually move that much. It was very rudimentary. I mean, you had basically two guys underneath, and they opened the mouth and they closed it. Opened the mouth and closed it. And then the thing is that when the buds opened, they just pulled on strings and pulled the leaves back. That's how they did it. And the thing is, they used the same techniques on the stage play. That was one of the reasons why the stage play worked out, was because they realized how to do it from the movie. At least for the first few times they did it. And then later on, they got more technical with the creature, and now Audrey 2 is a lot more animatronic than in the original productions.
Yeah.
Originally.
But that contributed to the comedy. It being low tech. I wonder who did the voice of the plant.
Oh, it was just one of the guys in there. You hear him yelling up the thing, "Feed me, feed me." Yeah, that's all they had to do with it. Was they had the technician down there and he'd yell. And actually, if I recall, the little Audrey Jr., the little tiny one.
Yeah.
If I recall, that was Roger Corman who did the voice. Well, the thing is, I mean, the man was doing this on such a low budget, and during that time you also had to let's see how much. Oh my God, you're good. The budget for this film was $27,000. How do you like that?
I wonder how much went into making the plant.
Don't know. It probably went for like the same budget that you would put into doing a parade float or something like that. Very cheap. But I'll tell you, the film grossed $1,400,000.
Well, back then I was pretty good.
31st, 1960. Oh, and you're gonna love this because of the music that I chose. Perfect. The film is also known as The Passionate People Eater. And also, the filming locations was Bunker Hill, downtown Los Angeles. So it wasn't New York, it wasn't Chicago, it was downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah, and the production company was Roger Corman's production in Santa Clara, California. So just down the way from us was his original offices when he was doing this. So anyways, yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Very, very interesting. But yeah, it was funny, and then of course, amusingly, I have to think of my one sister when I look at the kid's mom, because she reminds me of my middle sister Linda. Funny as hell. But that's it was funny with her that everything was medicine. Oh God, all the drinking stuff was tonics and stuff, and the dinner that they had was all medicine, and he didn't even know what a peanut butter sandwich was. God, that is just something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Here's the name of the guy who played the voice of Audrey Jr. Charles B. Griffith. The voice of the plant was supposedly to be dubbed in by another actor in post-production, but Griffin's vocalizations of the plants got laughs, and the producer and director Roger Corman was so notoriously cheap, so his voice remained in the final print of the film. And it says here, Dick Miller genuinely ate flowers in this film. So there's your confirmation. This is the trivia section in my notes. I didn't get to, another difference that they had between the musical and this version is that the plant he obtained the plant from a Japanese gardener who found the bulb in a plantation next to Cranberry Farm. But anyway,
it's not really explained why it is the way that it is.
But in the musical, it's an alien plant. The seeds came from outer space.
Yeah.
Which I think added a little something. It was a little corny, but I don't see So, anyways, yeah. Anything else there, Mr. Highland?
No, other than I definitely prefer this movie over the musical remake, and this is a movie that could stand to be remade with well, other than Eddie Deason, I don't know who else could be in a remake.
Yeah.
I mean, who could who could portray Mr. Mushnick?
Oh, here's something that you're gonna wanna go looking around for, because I just found out. In 1995, the movie was adapted as a 3-issue comic book series, which was created by Roger Corman's Cosmic Comics. So now Mr. Highland, who is the comic book junkie of the Wolf Pack, is now going to be going nuts now, trying to find a Little Shop of Horrors comic book.
Nope.
3 issues, Mr. Highland. He's going to be, just going through comic book shops in Chicago.
Nope.
Going, can you find it for me? Can you find it for me?
No.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Highlands, that we'll find out in a few months. Anyway, so they put as another tagline for this film, the funniest picture of this year.
Yes, I have to agree.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh, okay. So
I'm surprised that Svengoolie doesn't show this.
He doesn't?
No.
Wow. Oh, I found out who your lookalike is.
Who?
Wally Campo. He's the one who played Sergeant Joe Fink. And he's the narrator of the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So anyways, yeah, so That's it. Just you got everything for Little Shop of Horrors now?
Mm-hmm.
All righty. So we're pretty good there. All righty. Any last words there?
Oh, we forgot to mention that we were going to have a guest to help us, but
Unfortunately, he is busy trying to get ready for Comic-Con. So he wasn't able to do it. He's going to be out of town for 2 weeks, and he's trying to put together everything for this. This is like a big thing for our former guest. We're not going to mention who he is, because he didn't show up, but anyway, so yeah, so I know a lot of you are excited about Comic-Con, and me, I kind of gave up on Comic-Con years ago. I tried to go, just never gelled, and from what I hear, I don't really want to go to Comic-Con. The only thing I probably would have gone for would be the Geeks and Gamers, or the I think Geek and Gamers. Felicia Day's organization. Her her group always has this big party, and it's supposed to be pretty damn cool.
Oh, okay.
But everything else. Thing is that it's you go to Comic-Con, and what you're stuck in lines, you're stuck being put against people. It's I don't think it's that much fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like that much fun. I mean, I went to Silicon Valley Comic-Con. It was fairly busy, but another thing is that when you go to Comic-Cons, they usually put the stars in these things with walls on either side, and they're way back there, and you have to wait in line for it, and usually waiting in line takes about 1 or 2 hours. And
I'm surprised no one does a parody of Comic-Con where people wait so long that they have heart attacks.
I'm surprised somebody doesn't. I'm surprised people don't end up collapsing.
Yeah.
In lines. It's terrible.
People do RoboCop style commercial type comedy.
Yeah.
Come on, filmmakers. Let's get this done.
And I mean, when I went to the Silicon Valley Comic-Con, 2 of the actors weren't busy, but I wasn't gonna sit there and try to go down that big old long thing, with my bad legs. But yeah, I mean, Emperor Palpatine, the one that played Emperor Palpatine, and Darth Maul, the guy who played Darth Maul, they weren't getting anybody. And I had gone to this Comic-Con to go and see Kristen Ritter, because I'm a huge Jessica Jones fan, and I saw that, and it was like, forget it. You couldn't even see them. They were so far back in there. And I honestly wish I should have went to see Stan Lee, because that was the last Comic-Con that he did before he died. But the thing is, as I said, looking at that, I only had 3 hours at the Comic-Con, so I wanted to go around and look at stuff, and I wanted to meet up with my friend Al Omega, and meet up with the Creature Features people, and meet up with John Stanley. So I just didn't have the time, and I even missed out on seeing David Tennant, which really pisses me off. So I'm not too hot on Comic-Cons. I mean, what's funny is that when I was at that Comic-Con, I actually met Mathers, the guy who played Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
And I met the lady that played Marilyn Munster. And I got to see Nichelle Nichols again after all these years. I haven't seen Nichelle in so long. It's been incredible. But she was there selling her jewelry and stuff that she makes. Beautiful jewelry and she was signing autographs. But they didn't have any lines. That just blew me away. So I went and I spent some time and I talked to them. That's more what I wanted to do at a Comic-Con or a convention. I want to go and talk to the people rather than just, oh well, you have 1 minute, get your picture, get your autograph, and get the hell out of here. Jesus. Well, you know that, Mr. Highland. You don't like that either.
No.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that you would go to a convention and finally get up to the actor. What was it? Was it Robert Englund that you talked to the one time? And you were talking about the pizza scene?
Yes. And he didn't react, and I just
no. And you want to know why, Mr. Highland?
Why?
Oh, the reason why is I realized it after all this time. It's because of the fact that he was bleary-eyed. He was tired. He'd spent the entire day having people slammed in his face, one after the other, thousands of people, and a minute, not even having a time to really take a breath. Just one after the other, boom, 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 boom. Could you imagine if that happened to you? How would you be?
Well, they should let him have a break. I mean, it's just.
Oh, they do. They do let him have breaks, but it's like, ugh. And then they get away, and fans are coming up to him and stuff all the time. Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, I realized it and I started pitying them because, I remember when I was at Martinsville Horror Fest, I actually had a few moments there. I had like maybe 20 minutes where I actually had a line formed for people to have their copies of the Camp Crystal Lake novels signed.
Wow.
And it was like one after the other and trying to talk to these people and that, and, trying to get through the line. And after even that amount of time, it was like exhausting, and, and you're trying to talk to the people, but, you can't even remember who they are at one point, and it's just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. My friend Felicia Day, whenever she does a public appearance in that, and when she does Comic-Con, she says that she literally leaves her body and she's floating above the crowd when she's doing it, and she's on automatic the entire time. And when she signs an autograph, it's just XOXOFD. So that it's easy enough for her to write
Well,
it.
I don't think that'd be funny if they had someone else signing, and the person they come to see is just a few feet away sitting, like that one Simpsons episode where Bart Simpson is signing all the pictures and Krusty is sitting a few feet away, and the little girl says to Krusty, "I love you, Krusty," and he points and says, "Over there."
Yeah, I know.
I'm surprised no one does that.
Oh, I know. It's some. Oh, God. But I could just imagine that if they had a look-alike, or that they do that, something like that.
Or a marionette.
No, not a marionette. They wouldn't, people wouldn't. But I mean, you could imagine if you had a look-alike, I recall I've heard stories that Michael Jackson had a look-alike who would go out to public appearances, and he knew how to dance and stuff like Michael and that, and he had the actions and he had the voice and stuff, so people didn't realize it, that it was Michael, that it wasn't Michael. Oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, so just a little bit of thing about actors and stuff. We're very educational here on Full Spectrum Horror.
Yeah.
So you get an edumacation from us. Yeah, so just remember, when you're at a Comic-Con, just remember that poor actor there, he's not being obnoxious, he's just bleary-eyed and tired, and he's
well, sometimes they are sometimes they are well,
snipey.
Well, sometimes they just don't want to be there.
Yeah, I know that way. I know, because I had a moment at EpicCon. I've never shared this story. It was with Laura Parker, who played Angelique in Dark Shadows. You remember her, Mr. Highland. You watched the Dark Shadows thing. Well, anyways, yeah, this was at EpicCon, and the thing was that I was getting away from my table because my table was right next to where they were doing wrestling. So every time they were slamming a body, there was this loud bang right next to my head.
Ouch.
So I went off. I ended up at the Dark Shadows table, and I was sitting there talking to them, and I decided to give out pins. My Keep America Strong watch horror film pins. And I went over to Laura Parker. She was just sitting there, and every time one of the wrestlers would hit the thing, she would jump slightly. And I went to hand her a pin, and she goes, "What do you want?" Like that. And I said, "Oh, just giving you this pin." She goes, "Oh, well, thank you." And I said, "Yeah, I told her, I said, I understand. I had my table right next to it." And she goes, well, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's driving me nuts, because it's horrible. And I said, yeah, I know. You know, we suffer for our art. And she said, yeah, right. Anyway, so, you know, that was my thing with Laura Parker. My moment, you know, sitting there talking about wrestling and that. So much fun. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and that's another thing. If you ever want to be a guest at a convention, make sure that you're not next to the wrestling.
Mhm.
God, that's horrible. I was amazed that you know, God, what's his name? Christian Boone from the Boone Brothers, the paranormal investigators. He was there too. He was just a few places.
Oh, the bearded guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was there with his wife, and yeah, they were stuck there with you know, because they had all their videos around the table there. With me, I was lucky I could put my books in a box and go off, and you know, I had Jeremy Ambler next door, and I had Sal Lizard on the other side, so they'd watch my table for me so I could leave and get away from that shit because it was driving me nuts too. Anyways, alrighty, so that was a little education and a little background and a little behind the scenes on convention stuff. So, anyways, any last words, Mr. Highland, and anything you have to tell the fans about next month?
Well, first I'd like to thank our listeners for listening, and tune in next month where, well, it's a surprise, but, and I am planning a guest again as well. And, they have confirmed, and I don't see them canceling.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. That'll be.
And it's also another movie from around the same era.
Cool.
But, well, you'll see what it is.
Yeah, you'll see what it is. And, you know, you guys have asked for more classical films. So we're trying to do that for you. Get some of these ones, you know, like the ones that I'm showing on Bloodbath Theater and that. So cool. Alrighty, so that's it for this edition of Full Spectrum Horror. Yeah, brother, it's full spectrum horror right here for you. And as always, keep America strong. Watch horror films.
The love that you bring me along. The pain that you gives me a home. Do you wanna stay by my side? Do you want me to turn and hide? We are disappearing inside, seeing pictures of our goodbyes. But we believe disappointment down. I wanna repress your goodbye, goodbye. The design, we brought them all. The dreams when you see that goodbyes aren't for long. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye. Do you love me? Do you hate me? Do you wanna believe me? Do you think that you don't need me? Do you wanna deceive me? I can't think that it's all over. Don't wanna forget. I can't live this disappointment down. I wanna repress your goodbye, goodbye. The design, we brought them all. The dreams when you see that goodbyes aren't for long. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye. Please follow me to the borders of destiny. I don't wanna break from your side. The falling ground screams goodbye, goodbye. The design, we broke the mold. The dreams when you see that goodbye soon for long.
The international